I am an accountant. And I am a bookkeeper. We do similar jobs, but our pay and career trajectories are very different. This video will be your ultimate guide on the differences between the bookkeeper and the accountant. But more importantly, I'm going to focus on how you can make high six figures with either of these two professions. So here's our agenda. We'll take a look at the job responsibilities of both the bookkeeper and the accountant, and we'll talk about the education requirements. And then I'm going to talk to you about how you can earn high six figures regardless of whether you choose to be a bookkeeper or an accountant. Let's get right into it. The job responsibilities of the bookkeeper has to do with the recording of transactions and reconciliation of the accounts. Let me give you an example from my actual role in the real world. In my previous role as a controller of a software company, we had 4 bookkeepers and 8 accountants. Let's talk about the bookkeepers first. We had 2 bookkeepers on the accounts payable side and 2 on the billing side. On the AP side, they were in charge of the following items: coding vendor bills, making vendor payments, reconciling the bank and credit card statements to the books and records. The bookkeepers on the billing side were in charge of the following items: they issued customer invoices, they applied customer payments to open invoices, and they followed up on late payments. Now, let's talk about the 8 accountants on the team. But before we do that, if you find this video educational or fun to watch, please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already, so that you can be the first to be notified when I publish my next accounting video. So, at my company, we had 8 accountants on the team, and they were in charge of the following tasks: accounting for payroll and taxes here included income tax, employment tax, and sales tax. We closed the books, including adjusting entries. The adjusting entries spanned revenue accruals, cost accruals, amortization for certain assets, among other things. The accountants also were in charge of analyzing the financial statements and providing insight on the business performance. Now, let's talk about the education requirements. The accountants will have to invest in a 4-year degree, whereas the bookkeeper can do well with just a high school degree. In the US, this is about $30,000 to $100,000 that you have to invest or spend as an accountant, whereas you won't have to if you are taking the bookkeeper route. So, if bookkeepers don't go to college, where do they get their accounting knowledge? Well, 90% of the bookkeepers that I know are self-taught. So, here are some of the ways that they acquire the necessary skills. Most of them just took a data entry job at a local bookkeeping firm, which meant that they spent 1 to 2 years entering receipts, learning how to reconcile bank statements and credit card statements, etc. The other group of bookkeepers simply took an online course on bookkeeping. There are numerous online programs on the subject that you can find with a simple Google search. Make sure that you vet the source of the program and you read online reviews before you commit. But also, I am working on my own program on how to become a remote bookkeeper making high six figures. I'll leave a link in the description once the program is ready, probably by the summer of 2025. Accountants, on the other hand, as we said, have to go through a 4-year program at a university. We said this is going to require them to spend or invest on the lower end about $30,000 and on the higher end around $100,000 depending on the university. Most accountants will pursue further certifications such as CPA or CMA, which will cost an additional $5,000 to $10,000 US. All right, let's talk about the road to 6 figures with these 2 career paths. In simple terms, accountants can expect to make 6 figures by year 3 or 4 in their career, at least here in the US, while bookkeepers need to start their own bookkeeping firm to get to that level of income. Let's talk about the path to 6 figures for an accountant, and then we'll discuss the same for a bookkeeper. When I was a senior accountant around 2012, I was earning about $70,000 per year. I really wanted to get to that mid 6 figures, around $150,000, and it took me about 5 years to get there. Here are the steps that I took. Step 1, I got my CPA license. This immediately got me a promotion to an accounting manager and raised my salary to about $85,000 annually. Step 2, I changed jobs every 2 to 3 years, each time taking higher and higher responsibilities. And this speed of changing jobs is a bit risky, and I only recommend it if you can afford it both emotionally and financially. This means that you won't be strapped for cash if you suddenly lost your job due to non-performance. I made a video on my job hopping early in my career. Be sure to go and watch it and get all the juicy details. Anyways, following this approach allowed me to learn so many different systems, processes, industries, etc. By the time I was 10 years into my career, I was working as a controller, earning close to $200,000 annually. By the way, I put all of my experience as a controller into an online course. In it, I teach you using real-life company data and systems, which makes my program the only one in the market to teach you using real-life stuff and not just textbook accounting. I'll leave a link down below for it. So I got my CPA license, changed jobs every couple of years, and then step 3, I tried to learn everything possible about automation. Every hiring manager I ever spoke to was delighted to hear about my experience with connecting systems and cutting cost and time in the process. So, if you're an accountant, try to learn as much as possible about tools that can automate the various tasks. I'm talking about ERP such as NetSuite, expense management tools like Expensify, and equity management platforms like Carta. The way you learn these systems is by being part of the implementation process. So take a job at an early stage company that is looking to implement new tools. Okay, let's talk about bookkeepers and, from my experience, what is their best path to a decent income over $100,000. Most of the bookkeepers who I know to have accomplished this income follow these steps. Step 1, get an entry-level bookkeeping gig making minimum wage. Step 2, spend 2 years learning how to serve a client. This includes coding transaction, accounts payable, how to create invoices, and how to run payroll. In this stage, you gotta be hungry for learning, so no slacking allowed. Step 3, either move up or leave this company to another firm or company so you can make sure you are learning new skills. Step 4, after a total of 4 to 5 years, you've gathered enough knowledge to service small businesses. You will now set up your own shop on the side. You'll be doing this as a side gig, so nights and weekends. Keep your current job so you can play it safe. Create a simple website using a tool such as Wix and begin to advertise your business. Use Google Ads so that local businesses are able to find you. Create a YouTube or other social platform so you can choose how to publish your thoughts on running an effective accounting process. Remember, it can take 1 to 2 years to build a client's roster. The beauty is this work can be done on the side, to your job, and from anywhere in the country if you have a laptop. For my bookkeepers who are watching this, tell me how long it took you to set up your bookkeeping business. That's all for today's video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.